Earth is warming faster than previously thought. Scientists say, and the window is closing to avoid catastrophic outcomes. As the world battles historical droughts, landscape altering wildfires, and lightning floods, a landmark report from global scientists says the window is rapidly closing to cut our reliance on fossil fuels and avoid catastrophic changes that would transform life as we know it. The State of the Science report from the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says the world has rapidly warmed 1.1 degrees Celsius higher than pre-industrial levels and is now carrying toward 1.5 degrees, a critical threshold that world leaders agreed warming should remain below to avoid worse-harm impacts. Only by making deep cuts to greenhouse gas emissions, while also removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, can we halt the precipitous trend. Unlike previous assessments, Monday's report concludes it is unequivocal that humans have caused the climate crisis and confirms that widespread and rapid changes have already occurred and some of them irreversibly. That is due in part to breakneck pace at which the planet has been recently warming, faster than scientists have previously observed. Since 2018, when the panel published a special report on the significance of 1.5 degrees, greenhouse gas emissions have continued, mostly unabated, have pushed global temperatures higher, even under the IPCC's post-optimistic scenario, in which the world's emissions began to drop sharply today and are reduced to net zero by 2050. Global temperature will still peak above the 1.5 degree threshold before falling. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to Zoom Show. Today is Monday and November 20th, 2021. I'm Jiajing Chen and your host for today. In the face of an increasingly serious global climate change problem, today we have invited three guests to answer our questions. They are Vice Minister of Chinese Government, Mr. Ze Kun, Canadian Environmental Volunteers, Mrs. Shirley, and experts Mr. Heng Rui from the United Nations Environment Program. Hello, Mrs. Shirley. How do pollutants link to climate change?
Okay, while pollutants and climate change are mutually influenced, firstly, the changing form of atmospheric circulation affects the conditions of atmospheric diffusion. The increase of temperature, the decrease of precipitation, and the decrease of wind speed are not conducive to the diffusion of pollutants, but also to the removal of pollutants. When harmful substances are released in large numbers, they destroy the ozone layer, the Earth's protective atmosphere, ensuring that the sun's intensest rays do not reach the Earth completely, which also provides the right temperature and climate condition for life on Earth. When gases such as carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide are discharged, particulate matter has a considerable negative impact on the greenhouse effect. And the rise of particulate matter will affect rainfall and lead to more drought. In addition, the monsoon fluctuation will also affect the length of the haze. Apart from that, climate change acts on air pollution and can amplify the effects of pollutants on human health, agricultural production, and the ecological environment. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate. So what kind of changes do you think environmental change and pollution will bring to the Earth? And what is their relationship, Mr. Heng Rui?
Hi, host. Well, we all know that environmental pollution and climate change have had a wide range of impacts, ranging from the entire planet to the human environment. For example, the cars we use every day will emit greenhouse gases, and we can imagine that a large amount of greenhouse gases will be released every day. With the massive emission of greenhouse gases, the overall temperature of the Earth will rise significantly, which will lead to a series of consequences like glacial melting, sea level rise, and so on. Meanwhile, the ozone layer is damaged. Strong ultraviolet rays will destroy crop growth. Ecological balance is broken. All living things will be affected. As the natural ecosystem is threatened by climate change, a large number of trees will die, and system changes will affect the world destruction of biodiversity and the global food production. Last, Asian rain will cause the soil to become salinized, stripping nutrients from the soil, wiping out the virgin forest of the lungs of Earth, and turning the planet into a barren desert. Thank you, host.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Heng Rui. So why air pollution and climate change are important, and why should we pay attention to this issue?
Okay, air pollution has become an inescapable reality in the lives of urban dwellers around the world. First of all, air pollution caused by living and industrial sources of pollution has a great impact on people's health. People need to breathe air to sustain life. Therefore, pollutant air has a direct impact on human health, which can lead to respiratory, cardiovascular, neurological, and other system diseases. In addition to being harmful to humans, air pollution also has an impact on plants, which can cause leaf spots on the surface of plants or directly cause leaves to wither and fall off. It can also cause chronic harm to plants. But the most important thing is still the impact of air pollution on weather and climate. In addition to reducing the amount of solar radiation reaching the ground, increasing atmospheric precipitation, and causing acid rain, air pollution is closely related to climate change, and the two often influence each other. Among the various air pollutants that have the potential to cause climate change, carbon dioxide play a major role. If atmospheric carbon dioxide levels continue to increase at the current rate, it could lead to global climate anomalies. Climate change will lead to sea level rise, glacier melting, land desertification, loss of biodiversity, and even increased people's disease rate. It endangers the balance of nature ecosystems and threatens the living environment of human beings, which is related to the development of nature and human society. Therefore, the impact of air pollution and climate change on human society cannot be ignored, and we should pay attention to it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your explaining, Mrs. Shirley. And hello, Mr. Vice Minister. What are some solutions for air pollution, and what are the actions taken by Chinese government?
Hello, Jiazheng. It is very hard to bring up one universal solution to air pollution since different countries are facing different sources of pollutants. The general policies that are implemented globally include controlling the emission, control the height of the chimney, and upgrade the stops. Meanwhile, regulations regarding vehicle exhaust that require vehicle to be equipped with converters is another way to control vehicle emission. Moreover, regulations such as motor vehicle environmental tax could also motivate the civilians to choose greener transportations. In terms of greenhouse gas emission, limits on carbon emissions through carbon tax is one effective way. One example in China is the electricity industry. The electricity industry emits the largest portion of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, and the solution we have taken is to equip certain types of exhaust purifier to stop sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide going into atmosphere. If we are talking on the policy level, readjust the energy industry from fossil energy, which is burning coal, to renewable energy such as solar, hydro energy, and nuclear energy is the big trend that we are trying to lead now. This would limit emission for both air pollutants and greenhouse gases. Another example in China would be the PM 2.5. PM 2.5 once created a very bad international impression in terms of air pollution. All of you might have seen the picture of Beijing in the big smog. In order to address that, besides above actions of controlling the industrial image source, we have also been using sprinklers to spray water around construction areas and roads to prevent dust getting into the atmosphere. From this diagram, we can see a clear decrease of PM 2.5 annually average. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. I appreciate what Chinese government has done to deal with environmental problems. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Minister. Okay, climate change has put our human beings on the brink of danger, and in the long run, it's urgent to take care of the environment. Thank you for your listening. Thank you so much.